The blame Americans broadly are winners. I have known some Americans and I lived over there. And I would suggest that winning is kind of in the American DNA. And this inglorious defeat in Afghanistan, which you now add to Iraq, and you now add to Iraq, and you now add to Vietnam, it's not a good look. And I take you back to 1970s, I can't remember the exact year, and the failed attempt to get the Americans out of Iran with helicopters that got choked with sand. And that did, for the US then President Jimmy Carter, that was him over, out. I'm not saying that will happen, but I sense there could be a real rally. That pictures of people falling off that USAF airline.
No, Nick, if I can just say, I agree, it's absolutely woeful and it's disgraceful and it's heart-wrenching. But I don't want my son in Afghanistan when the Afghan army are throwing down their arms and running away, Nick. I do not want my son there.
They wouldn't
How much you dress it up, Nick, you cannot. Would you like your son there when they just throw down their arms?
No, but they wouldn't have thrown down their arms. How many American casualties, fatalities were there in the last 18 months in Afghanistan?
I agree, not many.
No, zero. Okay, so
yes.
Zero. Because what you had was the core of American senior, I would imagine, senior military men and women who were making sure that they stewarded the Afghan army. And that, to pull that out, when I remind you, we still have troops in Germany, to pull that out was, by both parties, is insanity, but Britain couldn't stay there on its own, was simply not big enough.
Nick, you know the French partisans, the Polish partisans, the Hungarian partisans fought the German stormtroopers with shotguns. They fought for their country and their women and their sons and their children. They fought them and they died. Now that is when you fight for your family, and you're getting back all the time to the money they weren't being paid. Well, sometimes, Nick, you fight for your family. You're not worried about the wage packet. They're all running for the hills. The women, the children, but where are the men, Nick? And I'm sorry, no matter how you dress it up.
Let me hit you this final figure, okay? Since 9/11, the United States has spent more than $2 trillion on the prosecution of and end of the Afghanistan war. There are 40 million people in Afghanistan. If you divide that figure, the United States could have given every Afghan man, woman and child $50,000. That's what they've done. It has cost. And I would suggest they'd have probably had a better result if they'd written them all checks for $50,000. Wouldn't that have made more sense?
Nick, I'm not going to disagree with you there.
Look after yourself, thank you. 9:31 is the time. Just let that figure hang in the air. You could have given every Afghan man, woman and child $50,000 for the money the US has spent. 9:31, you're listening to Breakfast with me, Nick Ferrari here on LBC, the news, Simon Conway.
A total of 12 people have reportedly been killed around Kabul's airport since Sunday as crowds try to flee the Taliban. The Defence Secretary Ben Wallace says the militants are letting British nationals through, but it's more difficult for Afghan citizens. A man police were looking for over the murder of his wife has been arrested in Scotland. 54-year-old Mark Barrett from Leeds was detained in the Elgin area early this morning. His wife Eileen was found dead at their home on Sunday. Researchers say having both COVID vaccines remains the most effective way to ensure protection against the Delta variant, but they found fully vaccinated